good evening, everyone. As Natalie said, my name is Deirdre Loftus. I think that birding is the only sport that people start doing after they go through menopause. And yes, we in the birding community do think that birding is a sport, and we in the birding community like to pretend that it's really cool too. So bear with me tonight if you think birding's not cool, because it is. This is a thought that I find myself having as I'm sitting in a car next to my friend named Helen. Now, Helen is the sexiest 94-year-old that I know. She is smart and she is sassy, and she just got married to a 72-year-old named Peter. I'm sitting in this car with Helen, and I ask her, Helen, when did you start birding? And she says to me very plainly, well, I was in an abusive marriage. My husband refused to divorce me. I had a date on the calendar and a plan for killing myself. I was walking through the park one day, and I saw an eared grebe. It was the most magnificent thing I'd ever seen. So I got a bird book. I identified it. The next day I went back to the park. I identified another bird and another bird and another bird. Before you know it, my suicide date came and went. Birding saved my life. Now this was not the response I was expecting to this very generic question. Even more so, I was not expecting Helen's continued response, which was, the best part is, he wouldn't divorce me because he knew I'd get half his money. I come home one day, he dropped dead in the shower. I got everything. Helen is one of around 20 people that I find myself with in Montana. I'm fresh out of college. I moved from the beaches in South Carolina to the prairie lands in Montana, and I look nothing like the rest of the birders in this community. I am the only person who still has pigment in my hair. Again, the only person who likely has not gone through menopause. And I know virtually nothing about birds. But I listened to Helen's story, and I know she is someone I want to keep hanging out with. So in this there's around 20 people in a caravan of 7 cars. Every car is equipped with a walkie-talkie, radioing to each other things like, flock of 5 robins, 3 o'clock, or sandhill cranes flying overhead at noon. And it is mind-blowing. All the cars are stopping, traffic behind us is getting mad, they're honking, and the birders don't care at all. So at Helen's request, we pull over at a sizable bush so that she can relieve her bladder. And she gets out of the car. She just got knee surgery. She was pretty spry, but she was recovering. She goes, Ruth, Elaine, Joan, I'm gonna need 3 of ya. Come on, girls. I need your help. Peter, you can't come. And I watch as these 4 women giggle their way to this bush, and it looks oddly similar to 4 21-year-olds at a bar at 2 o'clock in the morning. I have no idea and cannot picture what they looked like behind that bush or why 3 people were needed and where they were placed around Helen's body. But I know they were giggling the entire time, and I thought, that is what I want to be like when I grow up. So I want to keep coming back for more. Week after week, I keep showing up, and week after week, these birders keep pretending that I am part of their flock. So the next field trip comes up, and I get to know Sheila as my next birding friend. Now, Sheila is the owner of a wildlife rehabilitation facility. And her and I are talking, and mid-sentence, while she's speaking to me, a group of Canada geese flies overhead. And I know everyone in this room knows what a Canada goose looks like. They all look the same, right? Canada geese fly overhead. Mid-sentence, she says, oh, Norman! Norman! I'm so glad you found a flock! Walk! Walk! That's so great! We just rehabilitated him. The group of birders doesn't even blink an eye at Sheila literally trying to speak bird. And I thought to myself, I need to keep hanging out with this woman. I could not get enough of her. So later that week, I find myself at 4 o'clock in the morning, carpooling with Sheila to go and find a greater sage grouse. We didn't find it. And I think to myself, the last time I was awake at this hour was 6 months ago at a fraternity house dancing on a bar. And I realize how different my life looks for the better, right? So again, I keep coming back for more. The next week, I meet a man named Will. He tells me, call me the Bird Man, and tells me to store him in my phone with that contact. Will tells a joke to the group. He says, hey, everyone, if a trumpeter swan can't trumpet, then does that make it a mute swan? Oh, we've got birders in the room. And everyone bellies over laughing at this joke. I don't understand the joke quite yet. And Will notices that I don't understand the joke. So he kind of, again, takes me under his wing and tries to mentor me through the day, talking to me about birds, showing me the ropes. And he and I have our binos up. We're looking in the distance. He's teaching me about the importance of scanning. And again, mid-sentence, Will says, everybody in the distance, 2 red-tailed hawks copulating at 2 o'clock. And people lose their minds to see these birds. And I sit back and watch these birders bird, and again am amazed at how stoked they are for something that seems A, impossible to see, and B, like not that cool. But I'm interested, and I want to keep coming back for more. Thank you. No, I was saying thank you to the bell. Sorry. So it's been 3 years since I moved away from Montana, and I have since not gone through menopause, though I have become an experienced birder. I'm just as nerdy as all of the people who I met in Montana. And every now and then, I think back to them. I think back to when I was new to a community, to when I was fresh out of college, to when I knew no one and looked nothing like the people that I was trying really hard to be a part of. And I remember how they welcomed me with open arms and enthusiasm and kindness. And I'm very grateful for that. All of them were a little bit different from each other, and all of them had different opinions, but they loved each other, and they loved anyone who was new and anyone who was a stranger. So I hope that I will be that kind when I'm 94, squatting behind a bush with my 2 favorite gals, because every Norman deserves to find their flock. Thank you.